Personally, here's where I think they didn't do a very good job, and that was with Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent, because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season this season, and I don't think she got the credit that she deserved.
Remember how Sheryl Swoopes said she had inside knowledge of the Fever's locker room drama? Well, surprise what? Kelsey Mitchell dispelled that hypothesis with a single signature. She didn't simply quit with IND Indiana. Instead, she put an end to all of the crazy rumors that Swoopes attempted to spread.
What's up, everybody? Kelsey Mitchell here, and I'm a Fever girl again. So to my fans, to the basketball world, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back. Indy's been good to me, and hopefully I could pour in and give the same. So here's been a Fever girl.
However, this is where things get juicy. You won't believe what Kelsey has to say, which is putting Swoopes in her place as she defends Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever and explains why she's proud to call her second home stick around. Mitchell didn't stop at signing. She has some words of wisdom that will make Swoopes eat crow. Are you ready for this story to get really interesting? Let's move.
People in the Fever were like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Let's discuss Sheryl Swoopes and her purported insider knowledge of the Fever, since there is nothing worse than a pot stir performed by acclaimed legend and Hall of Famer. On Gilbert Arenas' podcast, this woman, who has been spinning tales faster than a basketball on her finger, reveals that there are numerous other issues with the Fever. Her players are clamoring to bail, saying, "This isn't where I want to be really, Sheryl, because from where we're standing, the Fever just had their best season in years."
What kind of things do you feel?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay,
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
It's a turn.
Right? It's a turn, right? It's really a turn of the tides.
Right? Phil, here's my point. The beginning of the year, right? Everybody saw it.
What type of things are you talking about? I'm not in the locker room, but I am aware that I am talking about more social media. It's a turn, a turn, a turn. It's truly a change of the tides. Well, here's my point. At the beginning of the year, everyone saw it.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
But wait, there's more. After disparaging the team culture, she pursued Caitlin Clark like a hungry defender chasing a loose ball. You may recall that when she attempted to lower Clark's NCAA scoring record, she asserted that she was a 25-year-old playing against teenagers in her 5th year. When I last looked, Sheryl Clark was in her 4th year and had just celebrated her 23rd birthday. And let's not even talk about Swoopes' prognosis on Clark's difficulties in the WNBA. How did that go for you? I suppose breaking 62 records in your first season is what Swoopes refers to as struggling, even if Sheryl Clark recently became the first rookie in over 20 years to make the All-WNBA first team.
Obviously, as we get into free agency, the number one priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe in history in the second half of the season last year.
Now that you're thinking, perhaps Swoopes has a point about the Fever's locker room. After all, she's Sheryl Swoopes, and as a WNBA veteran and media reporter, one would think she had connections. But guess what just happened? The player that Swoopes claimed was being mistreated, Kelsey Mitchell, recently resigned due to a fever. That's correct. The same Kelsey Mitchell who Swoopes claimed didn't receive the recognition she deserved. The irony is that while Swoopes was occupied playing armchair general manager, the real Fever management was singing a different tune. The team's president, Amber Cox, was constantly complimenting Mitchell and Clark.
Now, we wouldn't be where we are today without Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, she's clearly a very foundational piece. She's got 7 years of being in and out of this building. She went through a lot.
And Stephanie White has been raving about Mitchell's significance to the team's future. So what's actually happening here is that Swoopes is simply out of touch, or is there another factor at work? From where we're sitting, it appears that she's attempting to create drama where none exists, and you know what? The Fever isn't having.
Sheryl, I'll start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlin Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year?
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were.
We're going to get into that in a little while, and I promise you won't want to miss it. But first, let's talk about sour grapes, shall we? That's exactly what Sheryl Swoopes is serving up, and it doesn't look good. This is where it gets really interesting. What did Kelsey Mitchell actually say that's putting Swoopes in her place? And why is she so happy to be back with the Fever? When Caitlin Clark won the Times Player of the Year award, it was a huge milestone for women's basketball. It was the first time a WNBA player had ever won the title, and you would think that everyone in the basketball community would be ecstatic.
The fact that that's the very first WNBA player to ever win Time Magazine Athlete of the Year is pretty special. And my question is, like the criteria, is it based off of her performance on the court, which, yeah, she had a great year, or is it more about the impact that she had on the game this season?
Instead of playing Champagne Swoopes, she chose to play Party Pooper at Gil's Arena. She begins to question the award criteria, asking if it really comes down to what you do on the court. She says, "Come on, Sheryl. We all know that it's not just about buckets and assists, even though Clark was a WNBA MVP candidate last year. It's also about impact, influence, and pushing the sport forward. And Clark is doing all of that and more, especially after her back-to-back historic NCAA senior season at Iowa and her record-breaking freshman season at Indiana."
Put Asia Wilson in there.
That was just basketball.
So that's what I'm saying. Was it just the performance on the court, or
it's global?
Else?
I think it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Don't get me wrong, but wait till things improve before suggesting that Asia Wilson ought to have been nominated instead. Wilson is an excellent player on the court, but this isn't about matching up players. Rather, it's about acknowledging a historic event for women's basketball as a whole. To be honest, it's kind of amazing.
I think Caitlin Clark deserves that award. What Caitlin Clark did, because so many eyeballs were on her, she is a huge multiplier effect of that.
If you're curious about what true leadership looks like, go no farther than when questioned about Clark's time win. Indiana Fever general manager Amber Cox, without hesitation, Cox declared that it was a huge deal for women's basketball, regardless of whether ands or buts were involved. It was just unadulterated support for a woman who is revolutionizing the sport.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
And let's take a moment to discuss that shift. You know how some people claim that women's basketball doesn't attract large audiences? Well, Clark completely disproved that claim, with commentators stating that she is the needle rather than just moving it.
She and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1.
However, this is where things start to become very interesting. The Fever organization is enjoying the sunshine while Swoopes is busy casting shade.
So I think Caitlin, she moves because she knows people follow her no matter where she goes, and she's very strategic about dictating where her value is.
And you are aware that the figures support it. The 2024 season saw a big increase in WNBA coverage and attendance. We're talking about sold-out arenas, products flying off the shelves, and constant social media chatter. This is beneficial for all of the league's players, not just Clark or the Fever.
Kelsey Mitchell re-signed with the Indiana Fever. Well, wait a minute. No, that's not what Sheryl Swoopes said was going to happen. I mean, she was going to get out of a toxic situation, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. So, let's take a look at this. Man, I got to tell you, Sheryl Swoopes is getting crushed. Yesterday, today, after Kelsey Mitchell agreed to re-sign.
It's a classic case of back-in-my-day syndrome, and it's not a good look for a Hall of Famer. You would think that someone who blazed trails in her own career would be supporting the next generation, but instead she's stuck in the past, acting like Clark. Her success somehow diminishes the accomplishments of others. Although experts, fans, and players are criticizing Swoopes for disseminating false information and attempting to discredit contemporary players, the basketball community isn't having it. It seems as though she forgot that the game travels ahead rather than backward, and that it is currently moving at Clark's pace.
First of all, thanks for being here. Thanks for showing Kelsey how important she is. The Indiana Fever.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So everything about Kelsey Mitchell is core, right? Core values, her core basketball, actually everything about her is what we're about. And so there was no way she was going anywhere else but the Indiana Fever. So this is a great day for our franchise. It starts with her. Her legacy continues in an Indiana jersey, and we're off to the races now. So
now for the big question. Why are Swoopes so upset about Clark's success? Is it jealousy, a clumsy attempt to remain relevant, or is there something more profound at play that we're all overlooking? After all, this isn't just about one player or one award. It's about the future of women's basketball and recognizing and applauding the players who are pushing the sport to new heights. And Caitlin Clark is currently at the forefront of that movement.
Anything you want to say?
No pressure. I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Indiana's been my second home since I went pro. So this is the only city I know. And so to see you guys open your arms up to me, I kind of remember every employee I run into. Whether you're a janitor, camera person, I like to be that person. And so that was a big part of me coming back because I got a chance to meet really great people.
However, you are aware of who else is involved in that movement. Mitchell, Kelsey, yes, the same Kelsey Mitchell who abruptly left the team, essentially ending all of those locker room drama rooms, and whom Swoopes said was mistreated by the Heat. What is the true story here? What did Mitchell say? And why is she so excited to return?
From the moment Kelsey Mitchell stepped on the floor at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, her time with the Indiana Fever has been memorable, impactful, and historic. Mitchell, she'll pull up. Here's a three. She's got it! And that's a record!
While there were whispers of locker room strife and player dissatisfaction, most fans anticipated Kelsey Mitchell's decision to leave the Indiana Fever. Mitchell silently signed a contract pledging her future to the team that selected her.
As Mitchell's career in Indiana continued, the eye-popping performances and awards began to pour in.
Fakes it. Oh! Ankle breaker!
Ooh. For me, I enjoy this process and know that, I'm a pillar of change. I could be one of the ones to say that foundation was laid.
As she would cement her standing among the top players in the entire league.
Let's go back a little. Since day one, Mitchell, the second overall pick in the 2018 WNBA draft, has been the beating heart of the team. Although her journey with the team hasn't always been easy, there have been challenging seasons, coaching changes, and rebuilding years. Mitchell has continued to improve her game year after year.
I'm excited about our future, but I would never change my past. I know what I had to do to get to this point, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Tosses ahead, Wheeler extra feet. Oh, that was pretty, plus the foul.
I'm very grateful to be one of the ones that, put the bricks down.
Mitchell finished top 10 in the league in scoring in 2020, 2021, again in 2022, for a fourth straight time in 2023, and you guessed it, top 10 in scoring in the 2024 season too.
Mitchell had a breakthrough season in 2024, averaging a career-high 19.2 points per game, while shooting 40.2% from beyond the arc and 46.8% from the field. These are more than just statistics. They are evidence of Mitchell's perseverance and commitment. She started 38 of the 40 games during the regular season and guided the Fever to their first postseason berth since 2016.
Then I met one of the greatest people in the world, Caitlin Clark, who just ran the basketball world. So I think together we hope to make you guys proud. We hope to make you guys feel like you're a part of our success and our journey. And I'm here. Let's do this.
It is impossible to overestimate Mitchell's significance for the Fever. The organization supported their statements by naming Mitchell a core player and offering her a supermax contract worth almost $4 million for the 2025 season. but Mitchell's commitment to stay goes beyond the salary, according to head coach Stephanie White, who also praised her work ethic and approach to the game. "Since I became a professional, Indiana has been my second home, and seeing you people welcome me back was a major factor in my decision to return." She even expressed her pleasure about playing with Caitlin Clark, denying any tension that may have existed between.
I'm a Fever girl again. I'm a Fever girl. I'm excited. Kind of missed this court. Yeah, I'm a Fever girl again. A lot of went into this decision based on what I needed for myself and for, obviously, for my family, my friends. And Indy is a second home, so I thought I'd give this thing a go.
With Kelsey Mitchell at the forefront, ready to take on all comers and demonstrate that sometimes the greatest stories are the ones that defy expectations, Mitchell's reigning is about more than just basketball. It's about a player who stayed with her team through thick and thin, and a team that believed in her potential as the Fever looked to the future. Since some people claim that team camaraderie is overrated, let's take a moment to discuss it. The Indiana Fever are proving those critics to be completely incorrect, and while Sheryl Swoopes was out there spreading rumors about locker room conflict, the team was busy creating something unique.
There was one practice, Christy turns on loud music because I can't remember where we were going, but we knew the arena was going to be loud. And so she turns on this loud music, and Caitlin screams, she's like, "Can someone turn it off? It's giving me a migraine." And everyone's like, what? And Christy reacted and said, "What did you say?" And she repeated it. And all of us were just we were all dying because if I would have said that, if anyone on our team would have said that and then been asked, "What did you say?" and you repeat it, no one else was repeating it, but she did. And it was the funniest thing. We're all rolling on the ground laughing.
Recall the amusing practice moment when Lexi Hull revealed the truth.
And it's hard. It's easy to say, yeah, don't read it. But everybody does a little bit. And I think it's having that support system to help keep you on track. The biggest thing is finding people to kind of get you out of that cycle and get you to thinking about the positive things you did, even though a lot of times people online aren't talking about the positive things.
Paul believes that because we know we have each other's backs, we play harder for one another, and this type of relationship is altering the way they play. That's not just rhetoric. There has been a significant change in how they approach each game.
Just figure out where this program's going, what we're trying to accomplish, and based on the way in which I like to see myself playing. I could do that with people like Caitlin, people like AB, people like Liz. The list goes on with Lexi Hall, Grace Berger. So I'm excited about the group we have. I get to play alongside some really great people. So here's to being a Fever girl.
When Mitchell resigned with the Fever, Clark was among the first to celebrate by reposting the announcement with a simple duh that isn't just teammate support, that's sisterhood. Mitchell has been the center of this team for years, scoring 19.2 points per game on average last season. Clark didn't just live up to the hype in her rookie season, she blew it away.
To the fans, I think you guys are a big part of my decision, a part of Indiana being home for me. The fans have also grown to be, family for me. So knowing what the atmosphere feels like, some of the love that was poured into me down the stretch of last year, I feel great about it. So I'm grateful. I'm definitely grateful.
The long-term effects of this chemistry could be that large teams with close ties withstand setbacks better, recover from defeats more quickly, and perform better under duress. For the Fever, who battled their way to their first postseason appearance since 2016 last season, this could be the secret to long-term success. The Indiana Fever aren't just talking about the future, they're shaping it, and the best part is that they're just getting started. While some may concentrate on drama and debate, the true story of the team is about unity and potential, with players like Mitchell and Clark leading the way and a team culture that's converting potential into results. Kelsey Mitchell's resignation with the Indiana Fever shut down Swoopes' disparaging talk about locker room issues is proof that karma has a cruel sense of humor. This isn't just a victory for Mitchell, it's a game changer for the entire Indiana Fever organization and the WNBA. With players like Mitchell and Clark leading the way, Mitchell's dedication sends a strong message about loyalty and team culture. The Fever is influencing the direction of women's basketball. They're not just discussing potential, they're transforming it into outcomes. which could motivate other players to create something unique even in smaller markets. The future is bright, and you won't want to miss it. If you're excited, let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss it. We'll see you in the next one after you click the video on the screen.